Welcome to CarTorque with Matty J, 98.9 Northwest FM. Another Tuesday night, more car-related topics. Tonight we'll be talking all things Mitsubishi Lancer Evo, or Evolution, for those of you who are cool and say Evo, man, it's an Evo. I'm joined in the studio with Rhysie K. What's going on?
How are you, man?
Not bad. And
been a while.
It has been a while. And Mr. Anthony Falk.
How you doing, Matty?
Not bad, mate, not bad. Always good when I see you guys in the studio, which is always a lot of fun.
I'd like to say the same.
Yeah, I know. I'm a pretty ordinary guy.
Really?
I'm not really great. So tonight we're going to continue with our series of all about. So it's going to be called the All About series. So, for example, last week we did all about WRX. Then this week we're going to do all about their mortal enemy, all about Mitsubishi Evo. We'll get to that a bit later. But in the start, Reese, you had a couple of questions you wanted to bring up before we get started on the show.
Sure did. I really wanted to talk about, like when you're going to fix something that, could potentially be broken, what more would you guys actually go to while everything's getting taken off? Okay, so it depends on the part. For example, if it's suspension related and, if I'm going to do, let's say, change my my struts and shocks or whatever it is, you'd have a look down there if any bushes need changing, tie rod ends and stuff like that. If they're there and they're accessible and they're cheap and they're not, and the parts are pretty on their way out, you may as well do them while you're under there, because then it'll be cheaper, because then you can get all aligned and stuff properly when it's back together.
Makes sense.
Does make sense. Engine wise, I mean, if you're doing, I mean.
It's all sort of hard to say. I mean, depending on what sort of car you got as well. Yeah,
big time.
Well, for instance, I just had coilovers fitted yesterday, and
nice firm ride now.
Certainly is. But they tell me while they're there, the radius arms in the front gone, and I do not actually have lower control arms at the moment because the arms there, the bolts there, but there's no bushing.
Okay, so probably not a good thing in the old SS.
Starting to think, while it's there and I'm out, do I do like sway bars? Tie rod ends, ball joints.
Well, we were talking before the show through a company called Whiteline, and Whiteline's pretty famous around the world with their aftermarket and performance parts. And through our place of work, we can get those parts
very cheap.
I'm not going to say that, but yes, cheap.
Staff price.
Cough, cough. But. It is probably worth it in terms of, they're an upgrade. They're tried and true Whiteline. They've been in the game for years. It'd be worth, if you're going to replace them, you may as well get them for the better versions. And if it's going to be cheaper, if not the same price, I'd be all over that. I reckon that'd be the way to go. What do you think about that, Anthony?
Look, if you've got all those half of the components already off and you've got easy accessibility to it and things are on their way out, or if you are planning on obviously changing over and taking coilovers, it's going to, potentially cause more wear on some of the parts that you do have there. So why not just reinforce it, just supporting mods essentially?
Yeah.
I don't know how many people think that bushes are mods, but overall, if it's better products, better composite material of it all, wears better, and it's right there in front of you, just do it.
Yeah, I completely agree. I reckon if it's out or if it's ready to go, or if you're planning on doing something, and you may as well, like Anthony said, we've talked about this many times on the show, supporting mods. I reckon it's a great investment. That'll probably make everything. I mean, your coilovers would feel great once you've got all the bushings and everything. It's going to feel $1 million. It's going to feel like so much better.
I kept wondering what the thumping was, in the rear, to find out that the the bush that sort of holds the diff in place isn't there either.
Diff bushes, yes.
So it's
probably a good idea to get on top of that.
You have to sort of, I guess, put the money aside. Just think, coilovers is
maybe not the priority right now, and maybe the diff is making sure it's secured.
Had the coilovers in anyway, so now I have to play catch up.
Well, now you know what's wrong with it anyway, because you got it done at Petters, right?
Yeah,
and they do a full safety inspection.
They do a full check over it, yeah.
So yeah, I mean they're the suspension gurus, so you'd assume that they'd give you proper advice.
I always found I can't always quite get in and get everything checked just on jacks and stands.
It's hard, man.
That's why I was going up in the hoist. They're going to have a completely
better look at it
up, and and they charge $20.
All the more reason to get a hoist. Every man needs one.
Every man needs a hoist. So, Vinny, if you're listening, I'm getting a hoist like next week. So it's gonna be on the side of the house.
We
Go
can
on, mate.
order them at our place.
Well,
of
we
work.
can we? Oh, jeez.
Almost bought a garden shed through work.
I didn't know we could get countries.
Yeah, same ones that are at Bunnings.
No way. What the hell?
If there's anything, man, I'll make it happen. All right.
SCA for the win. See, I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
Now, Anthony, you've had your car tuned,
Yes.
and you haven't been on the show since you've had it tuned.
Oh, I'm not too sure. I think I may have.
Did you?
I can't remember.
Oh, I thought you were going to do it. You had it all ready to go.
It may have been the case it was the week prior to
Okay.
that I was on. But, if we have said it, I mean, we can always go through it again, of course.
So it's all been tuned. You got 262 kilowatts at the rears.
Correct. So, step in the right direction. Not quite at 300 yet.
You'll get there.
But, definitely on its way. Definitely on its way.
And I've personally been in this car, and it is very quick.
It's a surprising tune.
So smooth. Like
Yeah.
it was incredible how smooth that tune is.
Yeah, exactly. A lot of obviously each tune is very different in what they do, but the guys that I had basically tune it was Blue Power up in Campfield. They're very much their bread and butter is your Fords.
Yeah.
So they know exactly what's going on and how it all works and what's best for it. They're not going to go and obviously, you never know really what condition your engine's in, but they'll do their best not to blow it up.
Well, you'd hope so.
Yeah, of course. They take the sensible protocol according to it all as well. I mean, normally in my car they would run about 19 psi of boost, but due to a few other factors in my car, they're currently running 16.
Okay.
So it's the case that they're not going to go and push it more than it should if it's not safe.
Yeah.
Because obviously the last thing they want to do is have the engine go bang, which is
Yep.
the last thing the customer wants to do either.
Exactly right.
Obviously I'll be bringing it back down to them for a performance
For service.
tune, as they say.
Yep.
Where they go through all the sensors, chuck back on the dyno, change over all the fluids, get genuine, in this instance, genuine Ford filters on the oil filter and the oil and fuel filter.
Yep.
And we'll see where that sort of gets us as well, but that'll be retuned as well and hopefully get a bit of a boost.
Yep.
Because there was a few little things that they were sort of questioning at the moment, because they said from a standpoint, my car was starting a little bit lower than what they expected.
Yep.
Normally, they expect the manual XR6 turbo used to be about 230 at the rear wheels from factory.
Yeah.
I was starting at about 217.
Okay.
So already as a standpoint, I was a little bit behind the 8-ball. But they said that can be a few things depending on the oil that you've got in there, as well as your filters and things of that nature too.
And also, you got to remember though, like your car's on 120,000 Ks.
Yeah, exactly.
And general wear and tear does happen.
Exactly.
And,
And you always lose power over the life of the car as well. I mean, mine's a 2009, so it's been going on for a bit of time now. It's almost coming up 9 years.
I mean, considering 13 kilowatts in the space of 9 years, it's not really a lot. I mean, essentially with a good service, you'll get it back.
Yeah, exactly. And again, that all comes down to the oils you put in and the filters you use too.
Yep.
So, we'll see what happens next service and hopefully get a little bit more power out of that one there. Just from the standpoint before we get to any more mods yet.
Well, it's a different experience because in comparing your one to my brother's one's got the bigger turbo, so it's a bit more laggy. But when his one hits harder, yours is just linear all the way through. I'm surprised for a turbo motor how linear it is.
Yeah. Well, that was the other part as well. I guess your soonest comparison when you get to a supercharger. That's exactly how it feels. It's just
there's no lag. It's weird.
Yeah, like the turbo when it kicks in, you feel it kick in.
Yeah.
But it's not a punch. It's not a kick. It's not surprising. You expect it to be there, and it just goes.
Yeah.
Comparative to your brother's Luke's, where obviously he's running a little bit more than mine, being the BABFs, and he's getting closer to 300 than what mine is. But his was very much just harsh, I guess you would say would be the best way of describing.
It's nothing, bang. It was like old school turbocharging.
Yeah.
Like really just, nothing, lag, and then boost. It's a completely different car.
Yeah, exactly. But then again, that all comes down to the tuners that you use as well. I'm not too sure who Luke did tune.
It was all with Herod.
With Herod.
Yeah.
So obviously, Herod do a different tune comparative to Blue Power in this instance here, and there's a lot of other tuners out there who they'll have different work comparative as well.
Yep.
But it's surprising the difference that each tuner and how things can sort of go and how they can sort of get that graph as smooth as they can. But in this instance here, it's a prime example.
Yeah, it's just two different tuners. I mean, two essentially similar cars, but bigger turbo, smaller turbo. But just it was just if you drive them back to back, they're chalk and cheese. Like they are that different. Look, we're going to go to our first break of the night. We're going to go to a song by FM84. It's called "Running in the Night," featuring Ollie Ride. We'll be right back after this. You're back on CarTorque with Matty J, still in the studio with Rhys and Anthony, Mr. XR6 Turbo and Mr. SS Commodore Wagon. We're talking during the break about your sound systems and stuff, and under the seat subs, they go all right.
They certainly do. One's designed for a ute, and I thought, hey, if one's good enough for a ute, maybe two will be good enough for a wagon. The problem with my wagon is I still use it a lot with carrying stuff.
Yeah,
I'm always that idiot that has to help everyone move and tow stuff around.
Guy.
I am that guy.
But it's a good guy to have around, though.
But the best part about hideaway subs is when someone looks in the window, stops potential theft because there's nothing to actually look at.
Exactly right.
True.
Whereas Anthony, your sub's in the middle of your ute.
Yeah, well, look, it is a ute, and look, once you chuck it to the left or the right, you hear the difference. It has to be in the middle. It's either that or you go two subs. So I mean,
that'd be a bit overkill in a ute.
Yeah. Well, I mean, already I'm at 7 speakers in the ute, so I mean
7.
Yeah, so far. As I said, it's two in the rear of it, 2 in the doors, and 2 tweeters, and then I got the sub in the middle.
Yep, far out.
Yeah,
that'd be insane. In a ute, jeez, that's what I got in my wagon.
Well, we better move it on to the car of the week. So this is all about Mitsubishi Lancer Evolution. So this is my little spiel about it, and then I'll discuss, and then we'll talk together as a cohort. Jeez, I'm saying like my uni lecturer now. But yeah, the Mitsubishi Lancer Evolution. As mentioned last week on last week's show, the Subaru WRX is its closest enemy on both the rally stage and on the road. Lancers have long been used in rally well before the 1990s, but it was the Galant in the late 80s that flew their flag. Like the Legacy, the Galant was a very similar in size to the Legacy, being a mid-sized sedan, and the companies found with rally stages getting more and more tighter, smaller cars were needed to fang around the super stages and to get better times. Enter the Lancer for its comeback tour. In 1992, Mitsubishi we saw the Evo 1 hit the scene. It carried Mitsubishi's tried and true 4G63 2-litre turbo engine hooked up to a 5-speed manual and all-wheel drive. Unlike the WRX, the Lancer was based on a front-wheel driver, so it used a transverse layout. The Mitsubishi Evo 1 was a smash hit, selling out really quickly in the Japanese market. Although new to Group A rally, it used a good bit out of the Galant to mix it up with the big boys in Subaru's WRX, Lance's Delta Integrale, Ford's Escort RS Cosworth, and Toyota Celica Turbo, or GT4. Before long, it was time for Evo 2, which had small upgrades to the suspension and a small increase in power. Evo 3 saw the first gen's final form, with a revised body kit for more flow, more power from a bigger turbo, and a dope starring role alongside Jackie Chan, as he's a Mitsubishi Evo lover in his movie Thunderbolt. 1995 saw the new shape, which brought along with it Evo 4. This brought along active yaw control. So what active yaw control is a computer-controlled differential that sends torque to the wheels with the best grip. So it's all done by a computer. It's not done mechanically. It's mechanically controlled, but it's done all with a
automation,
like a little bit of a brain. So Evo 5s and 6 were pretty much more of the same, but grew bigger body kits, bigger wheel arches, and had more power. Some people regard the Evo 6 as the most raw Evo for road, and this brought along with it the special Tommy Mackinnon edition Evo 6, which is very sought after and arguably the best Evo to be made because it was very raw and it was the last of the proper Evos as people regard them as. The third gen Evo series came out in 2001 with the Evo 7. This was based on the larger, seedier platform, which was heavier due to FIA forcing Mitsubishi to follow WRC rules and not to follow Group A rules for homologation. You might have thought that's it for Evo at this stage because they're going to be big and heavy and slow, but you were very wrong. Mitsubishi honed it, and when it got to Evo 8, made them arguably the best four-door sports sedans in the world at that time. It was so much more focused on a WRX or STI. Its inputs were more direct, and its tunability from basic mods was unparalleled by similar cars in the segment and at its time. Due to this, special models were made outlining their power, and the FQ400 was dominated when it came out, as it was made famous by Jeremy Clarkson being thrashed around a track and keeping up with and being as quick as a Lamborghini Murcielago. The downsides were the already tricky clutch was even more terrible. Fuel economy and maintenance costs were far greater than that of a standard Evo 8 because it's got more power and it was a lot bigger strain on the car. Nevertheless, the Evo 9 came out and for the first time they offered a 6-speed manual. The final Gen Evo came out with the Evo 10. This is the final Evo to be made. It was a bigger, heavier version than the one before, but in typical Evo fashion, it handled better and went harder than the previous version in standard trim, not the FQ series. And along with it, brought a new engine. For the first time, the 4G63 was no longer used. It turned to an all-aluminium 4B11T. It was now available with a dual-clutch transmission as well as a manual gearbox. Mitsubishi announced in 2016 that would be the end of the Evo and that they will create one more edition, the final edition. This model has slightly more power, but was refined. It was a fitting send-off to the Evo, even with an old platform it was based on. By that time, the Mitsubishi Evo was about 8 years old for that shape. The Lancer will end in 2018 with no successor, which will end Mitsubishi small car segment vehicles, as they, like other car companies, are focusing on cars people want, like SUVs. In the future, they are thinking of using the Evo name for a hybrid car, but I think that's just a bit crap.
Yeah.
Because Mitsubishi Evos were always synonymous with road-going rally cars, and to put them on a hybrid, probably not my cup of tea. So that is you getting all to know about the Mitsubishi Evolution in under 5 minutes. That's pretty much your crash course, Rhysie K, on Evos.
Oh, thank you.
Anthony's a bit of an Evo fan. We did see the 4G63 come in a few other engines, a few other cars too, with the Airtrek, which is the Mitsubishi Outlander.
Yep, Outlander station wagon, again a little bit down tuned, but very, very solid.
Very solid. We also saw it come out on the Galant, which was the engine it came out of. So the 4G63 was a very was a very good engine, but in the States it came in the Eagle Talon and the Mitsubishi Eclipse, so like the Diamond Star Motors cars they had over there. So it's a very widely used engine, but it was a very good engine, and that's what made Evo so tunable, because they were just, you could just bolt on and just make huge amounts of power out of them for not really a lot of money. Now, I will say the fastest car I've ever been in, I've been in some fast cars, was an Evo 9, that was like a modified Evo 9. It scared the living shit out of me. It terrified me. That's how quick this car was. I mean, I've been in some fast V8, some fast turbo cars, but this thing was on another level. What impressed me most about it was that, okay, it's hard to drive. They've got a really, really heavy clutch, like not heavy clutch, but like it's a clutch that's not easy to get used to. Was the grip that these cars have? It was when my mate took me in it, it was absolutely insane. To this day, it was pouring down rain, and he just switched it to gravel mode, and it stuck like it was dry. It was insane. So if you want a car that's going to stick like glue, you buy a Mitsubishi Evolution. Now, do we think Mitsubishi did the wrong thing by getting rid of the Lancer and henceforth getting rid of the Mitsubishi Evo?
Well, they've been a very popular car for a very long time.
They have been. It's like, I think they're saying, okay, well, there's no point in having a standalone model like a turbocharged sedan model if there's not going to be any base model for it to be based on. One, the R&D would be a lot of money, and two, if they're taking anything out of Subaru's book, the WRX is still selling really, really well. So I think they're losing a market there. Definitely.
Well, I mean, it's always been a competition. It's always been, as they've always been going on. WRX for Evo.
Yeah, everyone talks about it. It's like Skyline vs Supra, Holden vs Ford.
Exactly.
Evo vs WRX. That's
exactly.
Just what it is.
And now it's just the case of WRX is still going on, but no Evo. It seems like it's a little bit silly.
It is a bit silly. I mean, I can see like Mitsubishi's in a bit of a pickle with money wise at the moment, and they have been for a few years. So I do understand their point of sinking, like, for example, a couple million, like how many of $1 million into a project like this would be a waste of money probably for them, or they don't have the resources for it at the moment. But considering they've already got all the rally heritage and all the pretty much, because the Evo 10 still today is a really good car. Like you even though it was outdated in comparison to, like, let's say like the latest model WRX or a Golf R or RS, they're still a very capable car. I mean, if you just update it and bring it back, it'd be to me, the Evo was the king of the all-wheel drive going rally cars. So I reckon it'll regain its spot pretty easily.
Yeah, look, as I said, it's you can understand business way of things as well. When they do run a little bit dry, they need to have a look at other avenues for it. But again, in saying that, when you've got such a history behind that car, you think that they try and continue it on, or at least in that same style of actual car, not going into the Evo hybrid that they've got, because I mean it's not really an Evo.
It's not really, and that's what a lot of people are complaining about, Anthony.
Yeah, exactly, and understandably so. But again, you're losing a big part of the market there when you've got such a cult following going on with it, when it always goes down to the Evos and the Rexes. So, I mean, do you need necessarily a base model to be having it based off? I mean, you've already got the history behind it.
They could just make a standalone model.
Yeah, exactly, and people would still buy it.
Oh, 100%.
Again, because it's been going for so long, it doesn't really need a base model. You're still going to have somebody chasing it. Yeah,
there's still going to be a need for Mitsubishi Evo. People want Evos because Evos were, they were arguably. I stand by this name. I think they were the more focused car than the WRX. I love my WRXs, but I think they were that much more focused, and it shows. It showed on the racetrack. I mean, when we were at Winton that day, that Evo was faster than that Porsche, that GT3 Porsche getting around the track. And that was an Evo 9 with, just modified. That shows how capable these cars are. Okay, they were quite expensive when new, but, considering all the performance you're getting, it's pretty damn good. I mean, they came at about 65 grand. I mean, you're getting into FPV, HSV territory there, but you're getting arguably, same or if not better performance, smaller car, they're quicker, more agile, massive all-wheel drive, massive aftermarket because Japanese cars have got like a huge aftermarket. I think that Mitsubishi's onto a big loss without the Evo. I mean, it's a bit weird them getting rid of the small car segment altogether with the Lancer because even today, like the Lancer's that body shape's like 10 years old and it's still such a popular car. Like you still see heaps of them on the road.
Exactly.
So I think that's a bit of a loss on Mitsubishi's side because
they need to start a GoFundMe page
for Mitsubishi.
GoFundMe Mitsubishi Lancer, Evo Lancer.
Maybe they're starting to think. There's that side where they're made from. They're starting to get bigger. They're not as petite as they used to be. Maybe they need an SUV just to fit them all in.
Jeez. I mean. Let's be honest here. Like the first Evo, if you ever seen like a first gen, actually, we came across one on the freeway a few months ago.
On the chopped me, yeah.
Yeah, the one that chopped you. Yeah.
Secretly chopped me and the exhaust fell off.
Yeah, and it was smoking up a storm. That thing was, I don't know what the hell was wrong with that thing. Long story short, in Mexico, of course, we were on the freeway coming back after the show in Mexico because we filmed there. And he pulls up next to Reese, and he's like, and he just goes, and then Reese is like, "What the hell? This thing's."
I couldn't even get traction, and this thing's smoking up, gone.
Just like smoke from the exhaust pouring out, and he's just going nuts, and we're like, "What the hell? Where did this come from?"
James couldn't keep up in the NPS.
NPS, no, yeah. It was. I'm like, geez, I wish I had the F6 there, mate.
Come on, mate, you still would have been chopped.
Yeah, probably. You would have been alright up against it.
It would be a challenge as long as I got traction at the rear end. Would be alright, but
I'll just sit in the back and in the back of the U and
exactly.
Way down. And you'll be right.
Yeah, a few cement bags or one match A.
One match. That's all I'm classified as, just a cement bag. Anyway,
yeah.
Let's be honest here.
Cement bag's a little bit more useful, but.
See, ladies and gentlemen, and this is what we have to put up with.
And you've been putting up for a long time.
I mean, we've been friends since what?
Primary school, grade 4. Yeah, grade 4, something like that.
I regret the day I said hi to you.
Yeah.
Because then you bust my balls at work. He comes. ask Rhysie K. Rhysie K. Does he not come?
He calls ahead.
I'm
swear he does.
I'm unofficial staff.
Well, he comes and he starts working. The other day, on Sunday, we're doing load, and Anthony's in, and I'm doing a trolley. We're in the filter aisle. He's putting filters away, and Jim's like, "Who's he?" I'm like, "Oh, he's amazing." He's like, "He's putting stuff away." I'm like, "Yeah, he pretty much lives here." He's like,
That's because he does more
Second
than
home.
Jim.
Yes, that's what it,
If someone's doing more than him, he wants to know who they are.
big shout out to Jim because he asked me to give you a shout out today.
He said he'll pay you, so get some money.
Mate,
out.
I'm expecting some money for this shout out, Jim. I'm expecting, I don't know. Actually, that's probably a bad thing to give him a shout. Get money off him.
Some Reddies. He'll buy you some Reddies.
But pack a Winnie Gold and I'll be I'll be right. Oh, jeez. No, but look, I reckon the Mitsubishi Evo throughout its years was a really, really cool car. It was kind of a bit forbidden fruit for us because we never got 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. We got 6 onwards here. Well, we got 6, we didn't get 7, and we got 8, 9, and 10, as official cars here. But we've obviously got 1, 2, 3, 4 imported as personal imports or grey imports, which is perfectly fine. And that's another thing we're going to talk about next week about the law changing, because that's going to make it a lot harder for us to get imported cars, which is a real pain in the ass. And it's a big screw you by the government to us car enthusiasts. But we'll get to that again because we live in the biggest nanny state of all. But Mitsubishi Evos, we see how capable they are. They're practical. I mean, they've got a boot. You can fit 5 people in them.
A few bodies.
I mean, let's be honest here. For like if you needed a car that you could daily and that you could drive. And that's practical, and you could drive on the weekends or take it to a track. A Mitsubishi Evo is the way to go.
It's up there, definitely up there.
There's not many cars you can say, "I just put a set of pads in, like set of race pads and fluid, and you just take it to the track, and we'll go all day without pretty much any strain, provided that it's properly maintained and like not over boosted off its head." Having said that, they can take a lot of boost from factory. My mate's one was like running 24 psi. And that was just with intake exhaust. What else did you have? Get obviously injectors, fuel pump and stuff. But it was insane. It was like lag. Oh my god! So definitely one of those really, really cool cars, and a car that Mitsubishi, if you're listening, please bring back the Evo. It doesn't have to be based on Lancer, and please don't make it be based on an SUV. For the love of God, don't let it be based on an SUV.
And no secondary batteries any nearby. They don't need hybrids.
We don't need hybrids that are road going rally cars. We need WRX combatants. We need Focus RS combatants. We need Golf R combatants. Someone that's going to take the fight to the other all-wheel drive beasts that are on the road. And Mitsubishi's played that role for so long, and just to see him say, well, you know what, we don't really want to be any part of it anymore. It's a bit of a kick in the nuts to us car guys. We're going to go to our next break of the night. We're going to go to a song by Trevor something. It's called Miami Nights. We'll be right back after this. You're back on Car Talk with Matty J. Stop James from Memphis Movies is kicking back in the studio.
There you go.
Not bad, mate. Not bad. Still in the studio with Rhysie K and Anthony F.
We'll go with that.
We'll go with that. Mr. XR6 Turbo and Mr. SS Commodore. We're going to be talking about our favourite Evos. And Anthony said during the break, probably, obviously the coolest one, which was the Evo 8 wagon.
Yep.
Well, was it Evo 8 or Evo 9 wagon? I think it might have been a 9.
It may have been a 9.
Yeah.
I can't even remember. Either way, it's that same sort of shape overall.
Yeah.
But you never see them. I know that they're not actually importable in Australia here.
Which is weird. I mean, that makes no sense. Like, surely, because you can still get Evo MRs like imported, but you can't get Evo
wagons.
Evo wagons.
Apparently, it's going to be too damaging to the market.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
There was not that many made to be damaging to the market anyway.
Yeah, but hey, look, let's be honest. I'm sure if we really, really wanted,
you'd be able to manage it.
You just get yourself a half cut. Get yourself an ES.
Get a MIG welder.
Yeah, no, not even saying welding it. I'm just saying just get yourself a
duct tape, WD-40.
Get yourself the half cut. Obviously, driveline wise, is going to be a little bit more different when it actually comes to converting it, but just do an engine swap.
True.
Just on the old
Lancer wagon.
Yeah. Or alternatively, you actually import the. Okay, I'm not going to say this one. It's highly illegal, but I was going to suggest something to do with a VIN number and chassis number, but...
Probably not a good idea on radio, Anthony.
Yeah, you guys can assume what I'm going at here, but...
in Mexico.
Keep that in your garage.
Yeah. But I swear it's... I swear it's an ES.
I swear, officer, it's stock. My favourite Evos... I mean, there's two. Evo 6 Tommy Mac edition. Tommy Mac Evo 6 is pretty much like a holy grail Evo. Have to get it with.
Gonna look it up.
Have to get it in the red with the rally stripes on the side of it.
All white.
All white. Yeah, they look hot in white too. Actually, they look damn good in white. One of those because they're the last of the proper raw Evos as people used to call them. But two, because they're pretty light and agile, and three, I mean, look at it, it's just stupendously like massive guards and fat wheels. I think they even had the Enki white was at one stage, I believe, which are really really good looking wheel. But my other favorite Evo was the Evo 9. Yeah, pretty much what you're looking at right now, Rhysie K.
The spoiler is big enough to fit a whole family on the dinner, man. They're insane.
It's a big wing, big chicken wing, that one. I mean, but that's what makes Evos fun. Like they're just they look stupid because they're awesome. I mean,
the body kits are just crazy, insane.
I mean, the only bad thing that comes with Evo ownership is Lancer drivers when they just like they put those crappy body kits on that make it look like an Evo, but they're not an Evo. So you say to them, like, "Hang on, that's not an Evo," and they've got Evo badging, but it's not an Evo.
So like Marty on Mighty Carmels. I know,
Team Evo.
I know shots fired, but. Come on, it's not an Evo.
I think that was the joke he was getting.
We know. I'm just getting at the point. I agree, it's not.
Hashtag Team Evo. But he chopped the actual Evo 10 on the straightaways.
Yeah.
That was quick.
Yeah.
We had no weight in it, that's why. But then it blew up. Yeah. he needs a 4G63 swap ASAP. But imagine making that all-wheel drive. That'd be pretty dope too.
Mm.
Like, it looks like a standard Lancer, and then just like chop you with all drive, and that'd be cool. I'd be all for that. What else? Cool. Evo 9 to me because one, the fastest Evo I went in, well, the fastest car I've been in was an Evo 9, and two, because I reckon they're the best looking Evo. They were really clean. Evo 8s, they're the same shape as Evo 7, 8, and 9, but Evo 9s had like a big triangle in the middle, whereas like Evo 8s were like, on the grill, were really clean and more refined. They actually looked like a really, really nice car. Mm. So if I had the money, I would buy one. Value-wise though, like Evos hold their value crazily well.
Yeah, definitely hold their value.
And that's one thing that really
again, market.
Yeah. And that's one thing that that personifies those rally cars for the road. I mean, if you look at Mitsubishi Evos, you look at WRXs, you look at Focus RSs, you look at anything that's remotely Golf R's.
Yep.
They hold their value crazily well because they are sought after because
small, light, small market,
fun, fast.
Yep.
Relatively reliable most of the time.
Yeah, most of the time. Depends. Yeah. Japanese, yes. Euro.
I'm talking Evo here.
Okay.
Talking Evo here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Reliable.
I mean, but some Evo drivers would be like, no, Evos are the worst piece of junk ever. They break gearboxes, 6 speeds. But in terms of like a good car, if you wanted to have a good track car race, honestly, I wouldn't put anything past a Mitsubishi Evo, just because they are pretty much a track car already. Just as I said before, pads and fluid, and you're all over the track.
Day's fun.
And like we mentioned before, that Evo we saw at Winton was just it was going ham. Like it was going nuts. It got the quickest time of the day.
Yeah, destroyed it.
And that was an Evo 9. Yeah. So I think it was even registered too. I believe.
Yeah,
so,
I think it was road registered too.
Yeah, so that says a lot for the Mitsubishi Evo. We're going to go to our last song of the night. We're going to go to a song by BT. The song's called Godspeed. We'll be right back after this. You're back on CarTorque with Matty J. So we've talked all about Evo, but now we're going to talk about the SS Owners Club. So, Rhysie K, you're part of the SS Owners Club.
Certainly am.
You rep the SS sticker on the car, and
yes, I do.
And being it's like probably one of the biggest car clubs in Australia, to be honest with you.
It is massive. Sponsored by Shannon's, so by being with them, I get like 15% off my insurance, 10 to 15% off Autobahn. They have dedicated panel beaters that if you smash your car, your choice of repairer can be any of ours. So, like, I think it's called Bay Panels in Portland. They're like a massive supporter, which everyone goes to.
What about my cousin Moe's shop? You going to come there as well?
That's who I'm going to go to. I prefer the smaller shops. They don't miss as much.
Yeah. But
they've just gone from, in the last sort of few months, they've gone from free membership to paid membership.
Okay.
So to actually be able to...
Is it expensive?
About $100 a year.
Okay.
For a single, which sort of gives you access to a friend to sort of tag along. Otherwise, families, they're doing like, $150, 2 adults and a couple of kids, basically a car full. But then they're going to do stuff like, because they do a lot of colder cruises and stuff like that, they'll have like food trucks there. They're going to give like vouchers and
cool.
stuff like that. So, you go there and you might get a $20 voucher towards food. So for a family, stuff like that, it sort of chips out a bit, especially when you're paying so much in fuel for these cars.
Big time. But in regards to, you were saying during the break, how big their meets are. It was insane. Like
they
have 7,000 cars racked up like a meet.
They have sort of like...
That's nuts. I didn't know there was like 7,000 cars with like SSs in like Australia.
Yeah, man. They have sort of like... They have about twice that just on their Facebook following.
There you go.
But then you've got like, for instance, the Australia Club.
Yeah.
And then each state has a club.
Okay.
And then like Ballarat, for instance, they have so many Commodores that they actually have their own club. It's just Ballarat SS Owners Club. And, a lot of guys just put, like, say, Victorian member when they're talking online,
the forums and that, yeah.
Yeah. So they had, like, a meet at Lawn a few months ago. I think it was their 5th birthday. They had about 7,000 cars rock up.
Bloody hell.
But it's from, like, guys have original Blue Meanies and stuff like that.
Proper stuff,
real old. It's pretty much anything with sort of 5 litre and above that,
it's an SS,
that get out. Yeah. So... Massive. They decked out Lawn completely.
I mean, you see, while Holden's finishing up, well, they have finished up, I should say. They've kept the Commodore name, but they've dropped the SS.
They have. Now it's a
VXR.
6-cylinder
turbo.
Turbo. Terrible.
How's the SS Owners Club going to react to that? Are they going to accept them? I don't think
they
so.
are not at all.
Really?
No. It's V8s or nothing.
Okay, there you go.
So 6-cylinder, people are already like shunning Holden as such. We actually have these stickers that one of our club members have made, and we've all bought them. And it's basically like, Holden from, I think it was 1948 to 2017 RIP. So we're basically saying Holden has stopped now.
Yeah.
We're not continuing with whatever goes on from now. It's just going to be parts that are hard to find, but other than that.
I mean, they should still make some stuff here and there. I mean, it's an LS-based engine as well, what you in your car, so you'll be fine.
All the Camaros and that run them overseas anyway.
Yeah, I mean, they say LS, hashtag LS the world, but Anthony and I say hashtag Barra the world.
Barra.
I'm more a Coyote the world, man, to be honest. After
Coyote
seeing that
world.
Ford Ranger that had the Coyote
that was pretty dope.
They cut off the front of the car to fit the motor in and then just weld everything back on. That's crazy.
That's pretty sick.
That's illegal as.
It's illegal as, but it works. Look, we are out of time. Thanks for coming on, Rhysie K.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming on, Anthony Farr.
No dramas, mate.
And I'll see you guys same time next week, 7 p.m. Like and share our Facebook page. It's CarTorque with Matty J, TORQUE with Matty J. If you've missed any of our previous episodes, you can listen. We've got the link on our Facebook page to the links to Shat Engine, or if you prefer iTunes, look us up, CarTorque with Matty J. Subscribe, rate, and review our iTunes page so we can get higher up on the iTunes ranking, so we can get the show more out there. Thanks, Anthony, taking the words right out of my mouth. But in the meantime, I will see you guys next week. Thanks for tuning in, and take it easy.
This is professional radio, gentlemen.
And it's front-wheel drive.
Scotty, have you got anyone you want to thank?
Just myself.
And now we do the after hours. Dun, dun, dun.
Gentlemen, what would you go for?
Dacia Sandero.
Okay, and because it's not a supercar.
But it is.
It's not.
Automotive perfection comes in the form of 2 letters, A and U.
Long live my LTD!